Hello, welcome to this animation video, whatever you call this. It's not really a time lapse because I'm doing it in real time, but let's just call it a real-time animation video. I don't know. I don't know what to call it, but so basically in this video, I'm just going to show what 3D animation looks like by doing a very simple walk cycle animation. Sorry, my microphone is so terrible, it's the only one I have, and also sorry I'm talking so quietly, it's because it's kind of late at night, and that's also probably why I sound kind of tired if I do. But, so, I'm not a professional animator, but I'm self-taught. I've been learning animation for quite a few years, since I was kind of little, actually. And so, I've gotten decently good at it. I'm still not amazing. I'll probably be better if I go to like an animation school or something, but uh, that hasn't happened yet. But for this video, I kind of want to show what animation looks like for people who maybe don't know that much about animation, and sorry if you don't understand a lot of what's going on screen. I'll try to explain everything as best as I can, but there's probably going to be some things that I just assume that you'll know that you don't on accident, and if that happens, I apologize. But, so anyway, this is my animation software. It's called Blender. This is version 3.4. I've got a few animations I've been working on here, but I'm just going to go here and hold on. What? Something's not working. Okay, I finally got it working again. It was something to do with my recording software, making it so I wasn't interacting with the software properly, but I got it fixed. So now I just need to. This is the 3D viewport. You can see that there's a grid here. This is kind of the floor where everything happens. Like, I can add random objects, but I'm going to add in a character. So I just gotta find it. It's somewhere in here. It's sorted through a bunch of different files. Okay, let me just get this set up. Okay, so this is a 3D model. It's just a ball with legs. It looks kind of silly, but it's a very simple character, pretty easy to animate. There's not that much that you have to worry about. It's especially good for walks. So, hold on. Let's see. There we go. And this is the 3D model's rig. What that basically means is that these are all controls that are programmed into the model that allows me to move it around. See, if I grab this and move it around, then it moves the foot. Like that. Or if I grab this one, then that moves the body around. And I use this to move the whole thing if I need to. And then these are kind of stretch controls. There's a foot roll. A couple of different things. That's the knees. You see, all of these controls allow me to move the character in different ways. See, animation is the art of movement. It's about creating motion. And so that's essentially what animators do. Like, everything else that you see in an animated movie, all the visuals, that is called animation, but really, animation is technically a much smaller part. It's like the motion of the characters, and uh, usually the actual characters themselves are designed by other people. Like someone creates the model for the animators to use to create motion, and so that's what I'm going to be doing here. I'm going to be creating a very simple walk. So first I gotta set the amount of time. So this walk cycle is going to be looping. So this right here is the timeline. So if I press play, then you can see that it plays through. It's going by, you see all of these numbers. You see how the numbers change as I flip through. Those are the frames, and it plays at 24 frames a second. That means that this amount of time, that's 1 second. You can see it takes 1 second for it to get there, and every 24 frames is 1 second. And so what I want to do is have this walk cycle have one step take 16 frames, and so I'm going to have this at 32 because I want to have 2 steps, because I want it to go forward and then back and then forward again and have a seamless loop. So I'm going to zoom in and create the first pose. No, darn it. Sorry if I kind of go silent here. You kind of need to focus when creating a pose. So this is the step. See there, he's putting his foot on the ground, and then he's going to put his weight on that foot, and then well, you'll see. Maybe that's a little far. And oh wait, no, wrong. Okay, so that is our first pose. So what I'm going to do now is, well, oh, wait, sorry, just gotta move these. Okay, now what I'm going to do is select all of the controls. I box select them, which basically means that I just do this, I create this box to put all of them in, and it selects all of them, and I press I on the keyboard, and that creates a keyframe. You can see on the timeline there's now this little diamond here, this little yellow diamond. That's what's called a keyframe. What that basically means is that I'm telling the computer that I want this character to be in this pose on this at this time. And so now I can put I'm going to put the next this keyframe just after the end and have it be the same one. So I create another keyframe. It's the same pose because I want this to loop, so that when I play through it, he ends up in that same pose, so that you can see that it goes back to the start when it gets to the end. I want it to loop perfectly. And so now, in the middle, what I need to do is basically create a flip version of this. I need to put this foot in the foot that's in the back, in the front, and the foot that's in the front and the back. Now I could do that by literally just doing all of what I just did and creating the next pose again, but I can save a lot of time by doing a little trick where I can right click, and there's the area that says copy pose, and so I copy it, and then I can paste the pose, but if I just press this one, then it would be the same one. So what I need to do is press paste X flipped pose, which basically just flips the pose in this direction on the x-axis, and which is extremely useful. So I just click that, and it creates a flipped version of that pose. Very useful. And so I can just keyframe that, and now it looks bad. Yeah, it's nowhere near finished. There's a lot of other steps. So what I need to do next is create a passing pose, which is literally right around here. You can see that the feet are just sliding. They're not lifting up off the ground at all. So what I need to do is find the middle part. If you divide 16 by 2, you get 8, so it's right here in the middle. And you gotta find which foot is passing. You can see that this one is the one that's passing. So what I need to do is reset the pose of this one. And maybe lift the body up. And you can create a lot of the I hear that you can create a lot of the personality of the character in the passing pose, and so I think that's what I'm going to try to do here. I'm going to try to have some personality with it. I think that looks pretty good. Yeah, I kind of like that, but I kind of want to exaggerate that a little more. And bring the knee out. Oh, no, wait. I forgot to make a keyframe. Okay, so now it's better. So now I copy that pose and put it around here, I think. It's probably the halfway point. And it's getting better. Still not perfect, but it's getting much better. So what I need to do now is add the up and down poses. Although what I might want to do first is fix some of the curves on this motion. So what I'm going to bring up next is something that's a little more complicated, but yeah, this is quite hard to understand if you're not used to 3D animation, but essentially, heavily oversimplified, these are like these curves, these lines are supposed to be mathematical representations of how they're moving, like on which axis. It's hard to explain, and as an animator, you kind of you don't really need to understand all the math behind how it works. You kind of think about it in a more artistic way over time, like kind of understanding what makes it, kind of understanding what looks good and what doesn't. But learning the mathematics of how it works definitely does help. And at least learning the basics helps you to at least understand what's going on. But right now, basically all I need to do is look for anything that looks off in the curves. And so this mostly looks good. Uh, and something looks off. So essentially I'm just correcting a lot of the curves to make them more pleasant for the... Oh, I see what's going on here. Essentially I just have to figure out what the problem is that is making it look weird. So I think I figured out what's going on there, so that looks much better. There are certain things that you kind of have to learn to pick up on when you're animating. So now I need to create a pose in between these two called a down pose, where essentially he's putting all his weight onto his foot. See, right now it looks like he's kind of floating to the next pose, so I kind of have to make it look like he's putting all his weight on that foot. And move his body down. There's just a lot of trial and error here. Okay, so that looks pretty good. So now I'm going to copy the pose, paste X flip pose. Okay, so now I'm going to create the up pose, which is already kind of mostly here. So, what are they? I'm trying to find a good place to put the foot. Okay, so now I copy the pose, paste X flipped pose, and we got a walk cycle. Pretty cool. So that's how 3D animation works, basically. I hope you enjoyed.